that sun is shining on the Jimmy Johnson display here at the Star in Frisco. But if you look real close, you can see it. How about them Cowboys? Yeah. How about them Cowboys? What are they doing here today at the Star in Frisco? I'm Mike Fisher, your trusted reporter. We are at Cowboys headquarters, just hanging out. Fish at 6 tonight, and I've got, there's the Star behind me, and I've got 3 items for you. That's right, 3 items, and they are 3 items of substance. One is a scoop, ding. One is an argument with Stephen Jones, ding. And one is an update on the Dak Prescott lawsuit situation. So let's go through it, shall we? First of all, to the scoop. I've now talked to 2 people from 2 different NFL teams who are convinced that the Cowboys are exploring, let's use that word, exploring the idea of a trade in the first round in the NFL draft. Now, I know it'd be more exciting for you if I said it's a trade up. That's not the indication. What I'm told is that the Cowboys are looking at that bundle of players who they think will be available at 24, some of whom might still have a first-round grade on them, and I know you know the difference. By the way, I'm Mike Fisher, your trusted reporter. Did I say that already? And this is Fish at 6, Mike Live. Welcome to not the Fishbowl. This is the actual Star. The more thrilling news would be the Cowboys are at 24, and they're trying to go up in the top 10 to get... No, that ain't it. But what they are doing, in the view of 2 other teams, and I'm going to assume that the reason 2 other teams think this is because the Cowboys have visited with them on an exploratory basis, that the Cowboys are looking at the bundle of players who they think might be available at 24, seeing that some of them fill the need, offensive line, and some of them have first-round grades. Maybe those 2 things are one and the same. And so can you trade down from 24 and still get a first-round graded player, offensive line or otherwise, pick up an extra pick, obviously, a third, maybe, if you move down, and still get a pinpointed guy by drafting at 26 or 27 or 28 or whatever. This is the early stage of this. The Cowboys still haven't completely built their board, so they don't know exactly who's who when it comes to who's all got first-round grades, how do we rank them all, and who do we think is going to be there at 24. But their very educated guess now, I would say, is that there's going to be a bundle. By the way, the bundle can include a wide receiver. The bundle can include a pass rusher. The bundle absolutely includes wide receivers. There's no question. I don't know about first-round graded, but there's no question that there's guys in this draft who are wide receivers with high second-round grades who would merit a pick at 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's your scoop. Cowboys are exploring the idea of a trade down from 28. And, of course, this goes part and parcel with something. I don't want to be. I don't want to trick 'em dick 'em here. We'll get to some trick 'em dick 'em in a minute. Jerry Jones, for about the last 34 years at the pre-draft press conference, which I assume we have coming up in the next couple of days, will say, "Mr. Mike, you're right. We are looking at trading down." And then you go, "Oh boy, what is?" And you go, "We're also looking at trading up." And then, "Mr. Mike, we could trade sideways." And so a lot of possibilities are still part of the gumbo in that pot. Item 2, ding. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones, friend of the show, said this week on, I believe it was on 105.3 The Fan, credit to my friends at The Fan. Well, here's the explanation for why we haven't done the Dak, the Micah, and the CD Lamb. We got to hold back that money, Stephen says. And that's the explanation for why we haven't had a lot of other signings. We got to hold back that money. Wonk, wonk. Stephen, you're cat man. And I've supported the success that the team has had. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Not successful enough, but I've supported it. You have been a obviously a key contributor to building a really good roster, a really good team. I don't know about this year's roster going forward, but that's indisputable. I have also been on record as disagreeing with the philosophy. Let's have a high plateau and always have a chance to grab the brass ring. It's been 14 years of using that philosophy. Not the 20. I'm not talking about the 29. I'm talking about the 14, and that philosophy hasn't worked. Maybe it's time to re-examine it. But this one's a little bit bothersome. This is trickum dickum. Well, the reason, by the way, that's not supposed to be an ad, but I did just get a haircut. The reason that we're not signing guys, including the reason that we're slow to sign these big three, we got to hold back the money. Steven, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool fish heads in Cowboy Nation, 70,000 strong. And I know already, most of you already are aware of where I'm going here. The Micah Parsons contract, which I believe someday will be $30 million APY, will indeed cost the Cowboys not only cash and money, cap room. And again, when he's saying we got to hold back the money, he's talking about we got to hold back the cap room. That's true on the Micah. That's not true on Dak. The Dak Prescott contract will not cost the Cowboys cap room. It will save the Cowboys cap room. The Cowboys do a Dak Prescott contract today using most conventional math. They earn, win, get, save $20 million in cap room. That's not an expenditure. That's a savings, Stephen. The casuals don't know this, but you do. You don't have to save room for Dak. Dak makes you room. $20 million of cap room. CeeDee Lamb. Oh, it's going to be expensive. And it is. That's $30 million APY. That's my prediction. That someday CeeDee Lamb will make $30 million a year. That's expensive. It is in terms of cash. It's not expensive in terms of cap. Why? The CeeDee Lamb contract, as conventionally constructed, will save the Cowboys between $7 and $11 million in cap room in 2024. That's not an expenditure. It's a savings. The Micah Parsons will cost you. If they did a Dak Prescott deal today, they would gain $20 million of room. If then they did a CeeDee Lamb deal today, they would save $10 million, make $10 million of room. They would create $30 million worth of room, and then they could go to Micah Parsons and do whatever they wanted, and do some other things too. So let's not be deceived here. Trick 'em, dick 'em. You can fool some of the Cowboy fans some of the time, but you can't fool fish heads none of the time. By the way, thank you for hitting the like button tonight. Thank you also for subscribing to what we do here. We appreciate it very much. And finally, we mentioned this morning the Dak Prescott situation with the lawsuit and how the lawsuit against Dak has been dropped. Doesn't mean he's dropped his countersuit. Probably he hasn't, because our man Joseph Hoyt on Twitter pointing out at the Lone Star site, because he talked to the attorney for the accusing woman. We're not done. The reason we dropped it over there is because we're moving it to that courtroom over there. And we mentioned that in our story at CowboysCountry.com. Remember the Michael Irvin thing? Where the Michael Irvin case moved to Arizona? That didn't mean it was dropped in Texas. That doesn't mean it was dropped. It was just dropped in Texas and then moved to Arizona. That's this. We don't have a response yet from Levi McCathern, Dak's attorney. We're working on that. But the attorney, who seems one of the attorneys for the lady, who seems a little bit of goofball, says 1,000% we're still going after him. And of course, I like my lawyers to realize there's no such thing as 1,000%. If I hired a lawyer and he used the phrase 1,000%, I would probably fire him, because it would make me realize that he doesn't understand that 100% is the highest percent you can have. But the accuser's attorney is saying 1,000% we're still going after that. So this thing ain't over yet. It's moving. I still say I still contend that they have a very difficult case to prove against the 2022 NFL Man of the Year. His track record is rather sterling. Same thing with a potential suspension from the NFL, no matter what happens. I think Dak's got a good case there. But 1,000%, the woman who says, give me $100 million or else I'm going to go to police, that thing, I don't think it's alive for $100 million, but that thing, unfortunately, still alive. But not a cloud hanging over the star today. Oh, it's a little misty, but not a dark cloud hanging over the star today. In fact, that sunshine shining on the Jimmy Johnson, as you can see over there, the Jimmy Johnson. How about them Cowboys, says Jimmy, and it's engraved in stone forever. At the Star with the Cowboys, Fish.